Coming up in this episode, we have reaction to the rules trial during last night's academy game. Reportedly, Castleford's target declares he has signed for the club. And scores and scorers from the Cowboys versus Panthers this Friday morning. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to continue seeing more. Well, we come to our Friday rugby league game, and you know what that rugby league episode, you know what that means. The NRL catch up, as well as a rugby league story. Well, the first half of this is our rugby league story, which I recorded the night before, and you may have heard of, but the NRL games have only just finished by the time that this episode goes out. So we start with the news that the RFL have trialled the new limits of height on players when going into tackles. The academy game between Bradford Bulls and Leeds Rhinos was used to trial the new rules based on player welfare, and it didn't see too many happy faces with the spectacle going by those involved. It was kind of unimpressive. One of which was the game caller Mick Gledhill, the broadcast journalist of West Yorkshire Radio as well as Pulse 1 Radio, who also hosts the full 18 minutes podcast on YouTube. He saw the game and he gave his feedback on the match through his Twitter posts. First, at half time, he said, "My initial thoughts on the new RFL modification rules after a first half involving 24 penalties is that there is going to be a lengthy transition process for these young academy players to adapt to the new rule changes. It's been a surreal experience so far. Bradford Bulls 20, Leeds Rhinos 20. His full-time reaction on the game's image was also seemed to be disappointing, in my opinion, with the changes too. It's been a frustrating game for the new RFL modification rules, where anything above the armpit at initial contact is penalised. There have been 59 penalties in total, reducing the game to a stop-start mess. Hopefully, this is ground zero for the sport and things improve." Yes, you heard me correctly saying that. 59 penalties. 32 points to 50 was the scoreline, with Ben Littlewood, George Flanagan Jr., Fergus McCormack all being sent to the sin bin in the game, which also saw the 40-metre line kickoff rule on show as well. Leeds Rhinos head of youth John Bastian had his say on it too, as he believes there is a better way to minimise the chances of concussion. Speaking to the press after the game, Bastian, who has been in the youth games since the year 2000, said, "I do understand what the RFL are doing, but sometimes something has to be better than that for us to make our sport safer, because that is very, very difficult to watch and play in. My big concern was that if there were going to be 50, 60, 70 penalties, then there is no game and no momentum. There is no game for the spectator to watch. I'm a big fan of the medical side, looking after the players and high shots coming down, but on the flip side of it, there was all those penalties for high shots, and I'm not sure how many concussions there are. Hopefully there are none, and I don't think there are, but there probably needs to be something that's going to benefit and promote the game. That was so difficult for everybody." As mentioned in the piece earlier, rule in place is the new tackling height is so that nobody can be tackled above the armpit, which does envisage a couple of issues for me, as I can see penalties given for the wrong things. From my limited on the field as a junior, everybody carries the ball in a different way. You see forwards steaming into carries with the ball swinging in their arm's grasp above the height of someone's armpit, their own armpit usually, as no one can run with their arms perfectly still by their sides. My point of this is if someone doesn't touch the person with the ball in the tackle and is in contact with the ball while making the contact, a penalty can be given under the law for a legal attempt at the ball in the tackle while someone's swinging their arm up and it reaches over the armpit. It's a bit weird to me. That could also be a penalty for a legitimate grab in a one-on-one situation, given against the player making that attempt. This is just like my thoughts running. There are a couple other things. If he knocks on in the attempt, it will be a penalty as well, rather than a scrum. Yes, these are extreme examples, but the tackler is always being tough in the tackle. They have to be to stop momentum and go forward. The lowering of the tackle can be more counterproductive, as it takes the exciting parts of our game away. We've also seen the side effects of lowering the tackle felt in rugby union, as they are a model that is close to ours in the sporting terms. In those instances, there have been more HIA stops and concussion rises in that sport. This is also why I think the 40-metre restart rule, which was in effect, will cause the opposite effect in the sport for trying to negate head issues, as I feel that the players tackling will be at a higher speed when they reach the points of collision, but the player returning the ball will be at a lower speed, which will be more of an issue. I keep hearing this as well, and I think there's a case that the kick returner in one game will be the only player to touch the ball for his team for the entire game. He catches the ball, runs out of the in-goal area, then he's forced back in because he's closer towards the line, causing a dropout. Then the other team scores, then does short kickoffs afterwards. And I don't want to see short kickoffs coming the norm as it is in rugby union. That is boring. Anyway, I'm all for safety and in the sport and for the athletes that are participating in our game, as we have seen the massive potential court case with over 100 players looking for help with their issues. But the sport is at a crossroads at the moment, and also looking at the rules that have been put into place just over a year ago, I feel that we have not seen the impacts to player welfare yet from their introduction, whether they are in the positive or the negative. It's still in its early phases. I think the sport should hold off on more changes for a little while longer, maybe a year, to see if they're needed, as this is the first year, for example, that the RFL player assessor for head injuries, the one that's a doctor in the crowd that takes the players off the pitch, has been introduced. But anyway, tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Next we come to some bold transfer news, as a player has said he's coming to the Super League in his country's national tabloid. The National of Papua New Guinea is reporting Castleford Tigers' signing of World Cup international forward Nixon Putt has been confirmed by the new recruit himself, following an interview. The Tigers have been actively looking for fresh blood following a dismal start to the 2023 Super League season, and are said to be swooping for Papua New Guinea and Central Queensland Capras forward Nixon Putt. The signing had previously been reported by Rugby League Live, but now the national newspaper and Putt himself have revealed that he will be moving to West Yorkshire from 2024 on a 2-year deal. The paper itself states, Putt, who is currently playing for the Central Queensland Capras in the Hot Plus Cup, signed a 2-year contract, 24 to 25, with the Super League club Castleford Tigers a fortnight ago. The Papua New Guinea international forward himself cannot wait to get sighted, as he told the National, "I've been playing in the Hot Plus Cup for 7 years, and it's always been a dream to play in the NRL or Super League, and to finally achieve that is a great feeling. I'm just happy to test myself in a higher level competition and look forward to the challenge. I give credit to myself that I have been patient all along. I didn't give up. I continue to play consistent footy and finally got that opportunity. It's good that my wife and kid will be coming with me to the UK. The contract covers everything for my family as well, so it's a great opportunity for them, my family, to see and experience other parts of the world." Castleford themselves have yet to confirm the story, as I think the paperwork would need to be clarified, but the player, who previously played for the PNG Hunters, making almost 50 appearances between 2017 and 2018, is a 27-year-old 11 caps international for the Commonwealth. He's also got North Devils on his CV too, so he does have a good lower level calibre, as while he played for the Devils, he played in the inaugural World Rugby League Nines in Australia during 2018. Someone that not many people know about on this side of the hemisphere, so it'll be exciting to see what he brings to a Castleford squad who needs some go forward in that forward position. So in our last segment of this episode, we move on to the NRL, as there are a number of games, 5 over the next 3 days, as we progress towards Origin Game 2 of 2023. So, who are involved in those games? Well, the 10 teams involved look like this. First of all, we have North Queensland Cowboys versus the Penrith Panthers, as we know, that have just finished. Before Saturday's season, Newcastle Knights face the Sydney Roosters. Parramatta Eels go off on the second game of Saturday against Manly Seagulls, while the Tigers face the Melbourne Storm. Sunday closes out round 16 with the Sharks facing off against the Bulldogs. The opening game of round 16 gave us an absolute epic, as a golden point extra time victory for the Cowboys sees them get the 2 points over Penrith Panthers. 27 points to 23 is the final score, but that does tell the tale of the two games, the two sides, as they were close in quality to each other without a lot of their origin orange stars. We'll start off with the first try from Isaac Tygo, who went over on the second minute before 2 tries for Scott Drinkwater and Tom Dearden, playing for the Cowboys, put them in the lead before Tygo gets his second try and helps score other points, with Jermaine Salmon, Tom Jenkins scoring all the tries that were available to the Panthers throughout this entire game. The Panthers only scored 3 points in the second half after a 20 points to 12 lead in to the Sheds. Kuli Kefa Finufuaki scored on the 53rd minute for the Cowboys after a Jack Cogger penalty. Cal Phelps dived in the corner on the 62nd minute, and we went into extra time due to both sides kicking a drop goal. First of all, Chad Townsend giving Cowboys the lead for the second time in the game before Cogger equalised with a minute left to go. Then the first half of extra time went without any being troubled, before Scott Drinkwater in the second period danced through the Panthers' defence to score on the right edge with a fantastic try. it was a Cowboys day and they've come away with the win, 27 points to 23. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way in the near future. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section below, as it's got a lot of information for you, especially those new rule changes. Yes, there'll be data gathered and things like that with regards to impacts and collisions, but you have mine too, Penrith. Why don't you guys have yours in the comment section below as we can continue our rugby league discourse? Anyway, thanks again for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. I'll end the episode as I always do by wishing you all the very best. So please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.